What's up, YouTube? It's been forever, man. So good to be back doing these videos again. Appreciate y'all who have stuck around. It's been I think a couple years or longer even. But I see I still have around 300 subscribers, so I really appreciate y'all staying subscribed. But yeah, we're gonna be back posting mock drafts. Season is right around the corner, so I'm gonna try to pump these out as fast as I can over the next month or so. That being said, I'm doing the 7th pick with a 10-team PPR mock draft today. One quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, pretty standard flex, kicker, defense, bench. If you have your spot already picked, like your draft's coming up and you have your position picked, no matter how many teams you have, just shoot me a comment on this video and let me know, and then I'll try to get to that mock draft as fast as I can, so I can knock that out, and share my 2 cents. But we do mock drafts. I'm also going to be doing card openings, football and baseball. Not so much as fantasy football stuff, but just scattered kind of here and there. Actually, I have a Whatnot show tonight at 9:45. If you're interested, I'm gonna be auctioning off some cards. So I'll leave the link to that show. I'll leave the link to Whatnot in the description, and then if you actually use my link, you get $15 free to spend. So take advantage of that for sure if you haven't registered for Whatnot already. But let's get into it. Let's get started. And then we'll see how it goes. So this is like my 3rd attempt at this. My video editing software keeps kind of messing up. So hopefully we can get through this one. But, okay. So again, I'm seeing Barkley. I don't know if it's this website, but Barkley would probably be my number 1 fantasy player. Him or Chase. Probably Chase with a slight edge. Just because Hurts is getting all those touchdowns, those push tutties. But I mean, Barkley's far and away number 1 running back in my opinion. Bijan would be right behind him. CD and Justin Jefferson, you're going to see go in the top 6 pretty often as well. Those are 2 and 3 wide receiver. Gibbs I like as well. And then let's see. So running back, I think if you believe in Ashton Jeanty, then this would be a good spot for him. Later half of the first round. A-Chain is probably like a fringe late first, early second pick for me. That Dolphins defense, gosh, okay, sorry. It just, I need to undo my pick here because it picked automatically for me. I need to pause this. So, Christian McCaffrey, I'm kind of fading this year. So I'm not picking him at 7, but I'm going to go with probably Puka or Neighbors. Amon-Ra is a good option here as well. But with my number 1 pick, I want a guy who's going to eat every single week. So whether that be Neighbors, whether that be Nacua, Amon-Ra, the only thing with the Lions is they just have so many mouths to feed, right? There's Jameson Williams, there's Laporta, there's Gibbs, there's Montgomery. Amon-Ra's, their go-to guy. Obviously, he's going to get his PPR points, and, he'll get there. But I think the ceiling is higher on one of these two. Puka gets Devontae Adams coming over, which should help, take some pressure off him. And then Malik Neighbors, I'm going to pick Malik Neighbors. I'm a big Malik Neighbors fan. And what he was able to do with the Giants quarterback situation last year, I think over 100 catches, over 1,000 yards. Let's see. 109 receptions. 170 targets. They're feeding him the ball, dude. They're feeding him the ball in New York. And they're going to be down a lot. Very pass-heavy script. I really like Malik Neighbors in the first round, especially in the 7th pick. So 1,200 yards, 109 catches, 7 touchdowns. If I can get that exact same production from him, that's perfect. That's awesome. They bring in Jackson Dart. There might be some hope there for him to, become that guy in New York. So finish it off with Jeanty, Nacua, St. Brown, Drake London, Nico Collins, and McCaffrey. So here, I'm going to check the running backs real quick. I don't hate A-Chain. I really like A-Chain in PPR because they do feed him a lot in the pass game. 4 or 5 receptions a game at least is what you're going to get from A-Chain, which is awesome, right? That's 4 or 5 free points. Mostert's gone, which is another plus for A-Chain. I mean, hard to not like that. So he should get more, red zone touches. Not sure who else they brought in at running back. I know they have Jalen right there behind him, who was a rookie last year. So he should see more playing time, but I do think it's A-Chain's backfield. The Dolphins are a little bit of a question mark for me, just as far as, how good they're going to be. I never know with them. They're just a strange team, really. I like Bucky Irving a lot. I think this is a little too early for Bucky. And then Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry, probably good here as well. However, Derrick Henry, he's a fantastic running back, don't get me wrong, but he's just kind of aging, right? So when is that year going to happen, right? It's going to happen one year. We've seen it happen with many running backs. I'm 30, so I've seen it happen, the past 30 years. Just a running back one day will just not be able to play anymore, and it's fine. That's the football career. That's how it happens to quarterbacks. Happens to wide receivers. Happens to everyone. But King Henry's time is coming soon. It's just I don't know when. A-Chain is a very strong candidate here, though. However, I kind of do like doubling up on wide receiver early. The problem with that is there's just so many good receivers down here too. That could be my wide receiver one, and I already got Neighbors. So I do think I need to get another running back before. I have a pretty big. Actually, let me go to draft board. I like this. I like this view better, but I do need to go running back because I'm guessing in this area here a lot of running backs are going to go, and then you're going to be left with someone like Breece Hall or Alvin Kamara one, which isn't terrible, but I think I want one of these premium guys here. So do I bet on Derrick Henry? He got almost 2,000 yards last year. I mean, that's just insane. 16 touchdowns. Pretty good in the receiving game, too. Whew. My goodness. He said, yep, it's the mileage. Age 30. A lot of mileage. Risky bet. I think I'm going to pass on him. And, it just feels weird passing on him because he just had such a good season. I'm going to go Derrick Henry. Screw it. We'll go running back again just in case he, does get hurt. It's good to have. Oh my God, there's so many good receivers sitting here though. But I pick another 6 picks, so I should be okay. I'm gonna land one of these guys. Okay. Rashee Rice going so high, that's crazy. We don't know anything about a suspension yet, so I would kind of hold off on Rashee unless he falls to you in like the 6th or 7th or something around here. Then grab him. Obviously, he's probably gonna miss like 4 or 6 games, I would think, somewhere in that range. But here I like Kyren Williams a lot. Always have. He's a fantasy monster. Kind of the same, outlook as and then you get James Cook, the leading touchdown scorer, right, for 16 touchdowns, 2 receiving. I think he was. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought he was the leading rushing scorer, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I'm gonna go Kyren Williams here probably. I really like Ladd here as well. I think Ladd is a great grab in the 3rd round. I would definitely have taken Brock if he was here. Brock Bowers in the 3rd or 4th is a great pick in my mind. He's kind of like how Kelsey used to be, right? He's like that guy right now. He's just, I think Trey McBride over Brock Bowers is a little crazy, but that's just me. Let's see. Yeah, I would take Ladd. Garrett Wilson's a question mark because Justin Fields, how he throws the ball. Still a great wide receiver. I mean, can't go wrong there. Tyreek Hill, again, just don't really know what's going on with Miami. Tyreek Hill seems to kind of be on the downward trend of his career. So I'm going to go with Kyren Williams here. I mean, I can, let's pull him up real quick. That's not a redo. How do I go to my team real quick? So Kyren Williams, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 34 catches, 182 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. I mean, that's just top 7, top 10 RB finish. And I'm pretty sure this is game log. Never mind. View more seasons. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, 7 in the last 2 years. This year he got hurt. He was even hurt this year, and he didn't even play all the full season, and he still got there. I think with the addition of Davante Adams, we'll kind of spread the defenses around. They have, Adams, Puka, and Kieran to worry about. So Rams are pretty high on my. I expect them to be pretty good this year. I'm gonna go Kieran Williams. These two are very consistently just top 10 fantasy running backs, and that's what you want to do with your first 3 picks. You want to get consistent, good. Every week they're putting up at least 10 points. Consistently good players. So back to the board. So Lad would have been awesome here. Garrett will. A couple quarterbacks seem to go. Breece Hall. Okay. So here, man, I am very tempted to take James Cook or Chuba Hubbard. But I do need another wide receiver. I don't want to go Davante Adams because I hate having, multiple people on the same team. It's just a thing of mine, and it's probably not a bad pick. He should be, pretty good on the Rams. But I'm liking, Terry's a question mark right now with Washington. I do think a deal gets done, and I think he does stay in Washington. However, I'm a Commanders fan, so I am just a little scared. Because if we lose Terry, we're probably not a playoff team, dude, to be honest. If we were talking about consistency, Mike Evans, that wide receiver room is getting a little crowded, and he's, the oldest of the targets. So, you have Mike Evans, Godwin, Jalen McMillan had a good rookie year, and then you bring in Emeka Egbuka as well. So 4 pretty good, above average wide receivers, I would say, in Tampa. A lot of mouths to feed. Good for Baker, though. I really like Baker this year. But yeah, you could go Terry, you could go Marvin Harrison Jr. He kind of had a disappointment. Let's look at his stats. 62 catches, 885, and 8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns isn't bad, but, we obviously would have liked more production there. I think he was going like 2nd round last year, so I think a lot of people are still burned from him. DK and Pitt, I do like a lot. Aaron Rodgers is going to feed DK for sure. George Pickens is gone. That just opens up way more targets for DK as well. But I am going to go Terry here. 2nd in touchdowns last year. I do think a deal gets done. If he does get traded, it'll probably be to a really good team that's, like 1 piece away from being Super Bowl contender. So I have, I don't think he's going to sit out the year. If that's, your concern, I don't think that's happening. Oh my God, Jaden Daniels was there too. I should have checked quarterbacks. But we have 2 more go. So I'm going to stock up on more skill. Unless Patrick Mahomes, Baker, I think I can get one of them on the way back at 6. So I'm going to get another running back or a wide receiver. I really like Mixon. Obviously had a great year behind that Texans O-line. And, he did a lot. He was forced to do a lot. They worked him. So, over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, good receiving, 300 yards. And the receiving game for running back's pretty solid. But I think the upside player is Marion Hampton. I'm pretty high on him. 22 years old. Najee's playing with fireworks, getting injured like a dummy. So give me Omarion Hampton here. I like the upside. I'll plug him in the flex. And I think he's just going to get more and more touches every week. Harbaugh and the Chargers, they like to run the ball. That's no secret. So I think Hampton gets a lot of touches this year. And I like what he can do there. Quarterback. So Baker is probably my favorite. I got Patrick Mahomes is obviously a good pick here as well. Don't get me wrong. But after these 2, I would probably have these 2 in another tier. And then I would put like Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. I don't like Purdy. Caleb Williams, them probably in the next tier. As well as Dak. Dak has, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, probably, one of the better receiving duos in the league. Not the best, but one of the betters, probably top 5. So he should have a good year. But Baker, like I was talking about with those wide receivers earlier, 4 above average. Mike Evans is Hall of Famer. Chris Godwin is a great slot receiver. Jalen McMillan really had a good rookie year. And then Igbukah, they drafted him. They want weapons for Baker. They have a great run game with Bucky Irving. So I expect Tampa to be a playoff team again. So I do like those quarterbacks here. I'm going to risk it, though, and just hope that one of them comes back on the way here. Might be risky, but I'm going to grab DK, and I can put him in the slot. I can throw... I think DK here is just a great value in the 6th round, dude. I got to take him here. And there it goes. Yep, I was worried about that. Okay, so that's the gamble you take. Okay. But the good thing is look at all the people that have take quarterbacks. So, right, this is something that you want to pay attention to. So, Josh Allen, we're the only 2 teams here. My team and then this guy here, we're the only 2 teams without a quarterback. So I would assume he takes one here or on the way back here. Usually you're not drafting a second quarterback until, later down here. So I think I'm good on quarterback. I can kind of ride out, that run there. And I'm fine with Bo Nix. Justin Fields in fantasy is he's a good quarterback. He'll get you rushing yards and all that. Do I necessarily want him? Not really. I'd rather have Bo Nix or Caleb Williams. And then there is a tight end that I really want this year, Evan Ingram. So I'm probably going to pick him on the way back, but we'll see. It's always good to load up on draft capital and trade capital, right? So this is when you want to start taking flyers, right? I have 3 wide receivers. I have 3 running backs. I have essentially a bench player for each. One of them is going to play the flex every week, obviously, but I like Caleb Johnson a lot this year on Steelers. I can go back-to-back Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think he's going to, be the guy, right? Mike Tomlin likes his big running backs, big ground and pound guys. Caleb Johnson's a good pick here. And then wide receiver wise, you could go Worthy. Jerry Jeudy's not a bad pick. It just depends on who comes out quarterback for the Browns. George Pickens on the Cowboys with Dak isn't a bad pick. I like Jordan Addison later as a number 2, receiver. But we're going to go ahead and get Caleb Johnson because this is when you want to start taking a chance on some high upside players, right? You have your starting lineup established. You want, a solid bench player for each, I would say. So I have DK who can slide into either wide receiver position. And then I have Omari Hampton, which I feel pretty strongly about, and Caleb Johnson now. So, that's a good 1-2. He didn't go running back or quarterback again. So I'm going to go ahead and risk, going non-quarterback again. There is a guy I really like this year, Evan Ingram. I think he is going to be very good in that Sean Payton offense. I really like Mark Andrews here as well. But I did take Derrick Henry, so I'm going to be rooting for Derrick Henry to get in the end zone. Njoku's a great, very physical and talented tight end as well. Again, just that Browns offense is just, I just don't know what to expect of it. So I'm going to go with Evan Ingram. I think that he's going to be a very big part of their offense this year. He was pretty banged up last year, but, now that he has Bo Nix and, Sean Payton, new scenery, getting out of Jacksonville, I think he'll do good. So a lot of running backs went here. Scalabo, Jerry Jeudy, only 2 wide receivers. So I think we should get another receiver. 4 running backs already. I wouldn't say I'm good at running back. I mean, I still have a few more holes to fill, but let's see. I think I'm just going to, what I could do? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab Bo Nix because now I'll get the little double dip to Evan Ingram. That's a great pick, I think. He went Dak. That's a good, that's his backup though. That's interesting. This guy's just riding it, dude. He does not give a frick. So Bo Nix will be my starter. I'll probably grab, I really like Caleb Williams this year. I think he's going to have a really good year. Herbert's just a little, because they do run so much, his fantasy numbers aren't the best. He's a great quarterback, but, and then, we'll talk about them later, but Okay. Ramondre Stevenson, not huge on him this year because of right here, Travion Henderson going. He's probably going to be the guy. He's better in the passing game. He's more explosive, faster. So I definitely see him being the emerging running back and getting all those touches in New England. Stevenson's probably on his way out. Wide receiver, I don't hate Diggs here. He's clearly going to be the number one in New England. Obviously, towards ACL last year, so that's a little concerning. He is older, 31, coming off an ACL injury. But if he does play, they'll force him the ball for sure. I mean, Drake May's going to sling it to him. But I'm going to go Debo here, I think. No, I already have Terry, which might even be like a handicap pick. Let's say that Terry does get traded, right? He leaves. That puts Debo as the number one receiver in Washington, which even sounds weird saying, but he's gonna if Terry gets traded, you'll see Debo get drafted up in the 4 to 6 range and up in here. There's no way he's falling to 10 if he's the number one receiver on a team, on any team, right? Had a down year last year. But he's gonna run. Cliff Kingsbury's gonna cook up some runs. And yeah, I'd say I do like him probably the most, but I'm gonna go Diggs just because I have Terry. So I'm gonna grab Diggs here. I don't hate Debo there though. Yeah, that guy got him right after me. So, yeah, that's a good spot for Debo, especially with the Terry situation going on. Once we have more clarity on that, we'll be able to kind of pinpoint his draft stock more. But he's lost a lot of weight coming in. He looks really strong. I'm a Commanders fan, like I said, so I've been seeing a lot of pictures of him. They're saying he's in the gym working out all the time. So I believe in a good year from Debo. And it might be home cooking, but whatever. So here, I'm going to grab one more running back or go quarterback again. So let's say Bo doesn't have a great year, right? Sophomore slump. I want to grab someone who may be, a little more fun. So you could go Goff. He's on a great offense. Again, they like to run as well, though. So there's going to be a lot of rushing touchdowns. He'll have his big games. I still think Drake May is probably another year or two away from being a consistent fantasy option. So I'm not going to go Drake May. Jordan Love, I'm not a big fan of. I'll go Caleb Williams here probably, or Justin Fields. I think I'm going to go. These are probably my two. I mean, Justin Fields is going to run. He's got Garrett Wilson. Fantastic wide receiver. He's got Breece Hall, Braylon Allen. And the Jets. The Jets. I just don't know. I have no idea. But let's go Caleb Williams. I think he's going to have a good sophomore year. Obviously, he's talented. Great arm. And he'll be a good backup quarterback, if need be. Or maybe he becomes a starter, right? Maybe he's out playing Bo, and I plug him in. Or maybe I play matchups. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers and 4 running backs. Sorry about that. Let's go with. What am I getting here? I got 4 rounds left. I really don't. Kicker and defense are just so boring to me. I never really draft a backup tight end because it's probably just like a 1 week plug and play. Tight ends, whatever. If you don't get one of the top tight ends, and this guy, really, Mark Andrews went that late. Interesting. Let's see. I kind of hate Keon Coleman here. I think he's definitely the number 1 in Buffalo. It's him and Khalil Shakir, I guess. And Dalton Kincaid. That's his name. God, I couldn't think of it. So I don't hate that pick there. You could take a flyer on one of the rookies like Trey Harris with the Chargers, or let's Let's see, any other rookies down here? Buka, I think I saw. Yeah, right there. Now's the time, right? 12th round to take a flyer on a rookie, see if he pans out. Mooney is probably the safe bet here. Michael Penix is gonna get his full season as a starter, so we'll see what happens there. I would be interested. I need to look into this, but I would be interested to see his game is, once Penix became the starter. It didn't look like he had a couple good weeks. I mean, that's 6 for 142. That's a great week. 5 for 82 is not bad. Michael Pittman. Daniel Jones in town. Not feeling it. Christian Kirk in Houston, I actually kind of like. So I don't think, is Tank Dell coming back this year? I don't think he is. He got banged up last year too. A lot of, and I'm gonna go Keon Coleman. Sophomore year, gonna hopefully have a growth there. And then Josh Allen will feed him the ball. Anyone on the Bills, anyone catching passes from Josh Allen is probably a good pick. He went Garendo. I do like him. I actually really like Garendo late because I'm not high on McCaffrey this year. Now, because I say that, watch him play the whole season, but I think inevitably he's going to get banged up, and then you're going to have Garendo. So here's what you can do. You can either stock Garendo and just keep him on the bench, and then when this guy has McCaffrey go down, you can be like, hey, I got Garendo, and kind of dangle him in front of him and try to get a trade going there. Or, you have Garendo and you have the new 49ers running back. Kyle Shanahan loves to run the ball. It's no secret. 49ers have a great O-line. So he'll do work behind there. But let's wrap this up. So let's see. Probably do one more player. I guess I can get back a tight end. Just so I don't have to do anything. Ooh, Tyler Warren is an interesting one. I do like this. Let's go with Tyler Warren. Johnny Smith on the Steelers I like too, but I think I already picked 2 Steelers. I don't want to go too heavy. Pitt. Kincaid, again, another one, catching passes from Josh Allen. Tucker Kraft, not too high on. I'm going to go Warren, the rookie out of Indianapolis, see how he plays this year. They were calling him the next, really big tight end, really solid guy, and the Bears went Loveland over him, and everyone was a little confused there, so the Colts grabbed him. Not a bad pick at all. So I'm going to go defense since they're starting to fly off. Give me the Ravens. I like the Ravens D. And then for kicker, who cares, right? Tampa Bay. You want to get a kicker on a good scoring team. Give me Butker, actually. Chiefs. So cool.